Hello from the other side. I don't know actually the rest of the lyrics, but hello from the other side. Shout out to Adele, Adele Computer. We are going to be doing Reaction Friday because it's it's finally Friday. Some people say fry yay if you're a little bit of I feel like that's a white girl saying fry yay. Speaking of white girls, we have a white girl, but yes, it's Friday, Reaction Friday. I don't know where the British or Australian accent comes from, but we're going to be reacting to you're creating your own problems. This is Miss Bailey Schildbach. She's popped up on my feed. I don't even know. A few months ago, I think I've watched parts of one of her video, and then this one, it just spoke to me. That black hoodie. She kind of looks like a ninja right now. It just spoke to me. I just had to. I saw the kung fu fighting ninja. I said I had to react to this. Now you're creating your own problems. She, I think, also has like a stream of consciousness, so I'm gonna expect her to it's gonna like feel like a river where it goes to the left and to the right, and it's gonna kind of feel a bit flowy. But yeah, let's see how we are creating our own problems.
Hi, hello. I've been away for a little bit because I've been dealing with problems that I made myself. Let's talk about it, shall we?
I know I hate pausing but I do love that you'd use the Ken Burns, Emma Chamberlain type editing for that, and then the awkward smile. I thought that style of YouTube was dead, but I guess, Bailey, you're keeping it alive. Keep on Emma Chamberlain it up or whatever.
I've been thinking a lot about this concept of manufactured problems. So let me explain what manufactured problems are. I heard someone talking about this concept where you have a central problem in your life. It is either that you don't like your job, you don't like your partner, there are people in your life that are abusing you or mistreating you and you don't know how to walk away or have boundaries. Your issue is, not knowing what you want out of life, or your issue is whatever your central issue is. Instead of actually dealing with this problem, which will take work, will take a lot of confronting of yourself, a lot of peeling away of the ego, you create another problem on top of it, which is, instead of dealing with this central problem.
Also, oh my gosh, I know I'm not supposed to say this as a man, but I like how her nails have flowers on them. I don't know. My mind went to Bikini Bottom. I know I'm a man. I'm not supposed to notice a woman having nails or painting them. But interesting color choice. I like that. I think that's blue. I'm borderline colorblind, but I believe it's a type of blue with some white flowers on it. So shout out to her for her nail color. But yeah, no, we'll continue and then I'll react about manufactured problems.
You overspend your money, so now you don't have any. So you think you have an overspending problem. Or you overeat or undereat, so now your body doesn't feel right. You're either heavier than you'd like, or you're skinnier than you like, or you don't have enough energy, and that's your problem. Or it turns to addiction and you turn to substance, and that's your problem. And there's a beautiful line from the film Beautiful Boy. And Beautiful Boy is a movie about a boy who has a drug addiction. And he's standing in front of this room and he's telling this story. And he says, "What's your problem?" And he says, "I'm a drug addict." And he says, "No, that's the way you've been fixing your problem. What's your actual problem?" And that's when he realized that he had a deeper emotional reason as to why he was chasing after substance. But this idea of
Man, she said a lot of things in the first few minutes. Let's talk about manufactured problems. Life, I think we try to apply math, or we try to apply science, or we try to apply religion. We have problems in life. And you can use math, you can use science, you can use psychology, therapy, religion to solve your problems. But they're not always linear. If you're upset with your partner, it might be because you're just unsatisfied with life, or you were settling, or you just didn't like the person, but they were available. If you didn't like your job, maybe it's because your parents pressured you into it, or you come from a long line of bakers. Your grandfather was a baker, your grandmother was a baker, your mother was a baker, and now you're in the baking, but really you wanted to be a tax accountant. I think that sometimes these problems we try to solve our problems with more problems, whether it be drugs or credit card spending or gambling or shopping. I already said shopping, but we tried or overindulgence, gluttony of food, instead of actually dealing with the actual work that's required and the responsibility. Because trying to work on yourself also takes responsibility, because you have to admit that you're a flawed person that needs help. I like that she used beautiful boy. Shout out to Timothy Chamberlain. I just love a good Timothy Chamberlain, Bonjour à toi, because he speaks French. But I haven't seen the movie Beautiful Boy, but I believe it's with Steve Carell. And yeah, it's about a boy who's just, he's struggling, man. And I think, yeah, using drugs, I haven't used like hard drugs, but I've definitely just avoided responsibility. And so that created problems by not doing homework, not doing this, not applying for jobs. And yeah, it's like I had a purpose issue and I was just using distractions to solve it.
Manufactured problems is that we're too scared, or we're too headstrong, or we're too ego driven to look at this problem, which is the actual thing that is bringing us misery and suffering, and look at it and change it. Instead, we create another problem on top of it. So it's like, oh, I can't deal with this because, I'm tired, I'm miserable, I didn't sleep enough, I can't because I have this problem, right? And creating this problem is 100% the reason why most people have a victim mentality. Because it's like, this problem could be solved. It's just going to take a lot of work. But then you put another problem on top of it. So now, one, you don't have to deal with this problem. And number two, you don't have to deal with this problem. So now you just have problem on problem on problem on problem gathering up in your life. And you just kind of put it aside because you're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm miserable. I don't have money. I overate today. I don't feel good about myself. I don't have to do anything because there's so many problems that I've created on top of my initial problem, that to carve that out and fix that and deal with that is just insurmountably large.
I would actually say that this isn't just individuals. I see this in workplaces all the time, where clearly, the department isn't run well. Like, things are just not run well. And so you're behind on your reports. Things are not efficient. But it's not that, like, the business is bad. It's just you have terrible management problems, or you have people that don't want to take accountability, whether it be employees or managers. It's not just management. But then all these other problems come from this one problem. Yeah, I see this at work. Oh, well, work. Work implies that I have a job. I see this in workplaces all the time, where there's just all these problems. People are like, oh my gosh, work. It's just such a problem. Work, it's so annoying. And I'm like thinking, yeah, but it's because people aren't taking accountability and people aren't doing what they're supposed to. Of course, work is going to be annoying. If this was a workplace and things weren't getting done and people weren't taking accountability, it's going to create other problems. Just like, yeah, if I have a purpose problem, or if I'm sad and I use drugs or food, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a drug problem on top of my purpose problem. Or I think food is a better example. If I have a food addiction or alcohol, it's like, now I have to deal with my alcohol problem, and what am I supposed to do with my life? And the thing is, like, with purpose problems, emotional problems, there isn't a one size fits all. It's a constant change. Your purpose changes throughout your life. How you feel changes just about like every hour. So it's like dealing with these things. So it's not like, oh, well, I fixed my purpose problem and then my food problem. No. And the ironic part is, it's like when you have a food problem, when you have an alcohol problem, when you have a drug problem, you have to solve the drug problem, and then you have to, it's like the farther, like once you go from, like, there's like the deep core, like if there was a circle, but basically think of it like the inner circle. Like, there's a tiny circle, like this is the core, and then there's things that build around it. And the problem is, in order to get to the core, you have to go around. And so you're going to have to, like, whether it be the drug or all these other problems, before you get to the core. And I think that's what she's kind of dancing around.
So I'm just going to stay where I am in life and stay miserable. And the reason that I'm saying that this whole week I've been living in a manufactured reality, in manufactured problems, is because I was miserable this whole week. And the crux of my problems is that I don't really know what I want to do with my life, and I'm incredibly scared for my future. That's my problem. That's 100% my centralized issue. If I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and I felt strongly and passionate about the path that I'm walking, I'd be fine. But I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to make a decision on what I should do or where I should go. I've done 101 job quizzes to try and figure out what field I should go into. I've tried being an artist, I've tried being a writer, I've tried being a runner, I've tried being a student, I've tried being a teacher, I've tried every and anything that I wanted to. I dipped my toe in to see if I liked the temperature of the water, and I didn't like fuck all of it. And I can't seem to figure out what it is that I am both good at, passionate about, want to chase, want to go after. I just don't feel it. And that's my problem. That's 100% my problem. But instead of dealing with that problem by journaling, being introspective, talking with a career counselor, shadowing people who have the job that I want to, going to a class to learn a skill, going for a walk to clear my head, I sat on my phone and I doomscrolled, which is the problem on top of the problem. And it's like, well, if you just put your phone down.
Man, that's so interesting. It's so interesting that she's so pragmatic. I wish I was more pragmatic. I wish I was a little bit less spiritual, hoopla, dupla. Let's talk about some divine energies, which we're not going to do this video. You know, there's no I'm going to free you from some divine energy. My crystals, I left the crystals in the other room, so you'll see the crystals later. But yeah, no, she identified her core problem, which was she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, which is funny. I find that very funny that she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, because by her posting on YouTube and openly admitting she doesn't know what she wants, she's actually shaping her future. I don't know if she knows. Like, I don't know if, Bailey, you're aware of, by you making videos, by you having this audience, and by you doing this consistently, even if you try other things, like, this will be a part of your future self. So by you being you're actually answering your own question by exploring, even if you fail. Like I said, it's very interesting. That's the thing about, like, not knowing what to do with your life, is, like, ironically, just not dying, you know, just surviving to the end of the day. Even if you just sit around and play Fortnite, that's what you're doing with your life. Like, that's what you're. Now, whether or not you're happy about it, that's a whole other can of words. I can't get into it. But yeah, she talked about looking at a career coach, journaling, I think she said meditating. I really like these. I'm going to call it pragmatic spirituality. Stuff that I try to incorporate in my life. But yeah, I definitely, you know, I might or might not spend more time on Instagram than I need to. Might or might not spend more time on Disney Plus than I need to. So I completely understand. I might or might not. You know, I've learned to there's doom scrolling, but have you ever done some doom chatting? I doom chat on ChatGPT. I'm telling you, I have some intense ChatGPT sessions where, yeah, instead of me just working towards something. Now, I can't be productive all the time, so I should preface it with that I can't be productive all the time. But yeah, no, she's completely correct that instead of dealing with the core problem, we're just doing the layers of the circle. Like, I think of problems like a circle, or ogres have onions. It really is like an onion. Think of a problem like an onion, where you have the core of the onion, but then you have all these layers around, and you have to peel back the layer before you get to the core.
For a second, and you actually, like, breathe and think about it and make some decisions and have some tough conversations with yourself, you might be able to move one step forward towards solving this problem. But you don't want to do that, do you? Because to solve this problem would mean you actually have to take a step towards your future, and you're scared of your future. So really, this manufactured problem that you have on top of the real problem is helping you a little bit, because you don't have to face the fear of the real problem in your life. And so I was stressed, and I underate, so I didn't have enough energy to think. When I did eat, it wasn't healthy, so then I still couldn't think, because now I have brain fog. And I didn't stretch, and I didn't exercise. I didn't take care of my body, so then my body felt like shit. And you see how you just keep creating problem after problem after problem in your life to avoid solving the thing that you do not wish to solve. And having that whole revelation was an eye-opener to me. The thing is that I had that whole revelation of I'm manufacturing my own problems because I don't want to deal with the thing that's actually eating at me. And when I had that revelation, I was literally doom scrolling, watching like freaking videos on Instagram. And that thought ran across my head. That whole thought process ran across my head. And so when I turned off my phone and I went to sleep. And I woke up and I had a good breakfast and I had to face a lot of the things that I didn't want to face, which is that I feel lost and I feel scared and I feel confused in life. And facing that feeling is going to get you one step towards a solution, but it's also terrifying beyond measure because you have to be so completely honest with yourself to actually solve the big problems in your life that it feels like doing surgery on yourself. It really does. But what you're not changing, you're choosing, right? So if you choose distraction, if you choose being lazy, if you choose avoidance, then all of your problems are going to pile up so large that you have built your own mountain of excuses that keep you from actually fixing what it is that's giving you grief about life.
I did want to pause. Sorry for coughing. But it's interesting that she came up with the prop or her solution while doom scrolling. I think, man, she's saying a lot of things that are very interesting. I think that it's interesting because what we're supposed to do with our life, getting married, having kids, settling down, which most Gen Z people aren't really doing or setting themselves up to doing, which is a topic for another video. These require huge sacrifices because there's some decisions you make that you can't undo. So, yeah, avoidance seems like the easiest in the moment, but that also creates problems too. And so I really like how she talks about how these things build up. It's kind of just like a clogged toilet or something. I don't know. I don't know why I used the clogged toilet. Okay, let's say traffic. That's a whole lot less graphic than a clogged toilet. Because I don't know what kind of Taco Bell orders you guys are getting. But yeah, it's like traffic where it starts with one car, and then it's two, and then three, and then four, and then next thing you know, the whole highway, it takes you like an hour to get to class, all because some dude decided to go like 15 miles below the speed limit. Not because there's an accident, he just wanted to drive slow. So, yeah, avoidance creates traffic. It creates problems. It clogs up your arteries, okay? You know what? We're American. We like our Big Macs. We like to clog up our arteries. But yeah, it creates problems which, well, and the thing is about avoidance is there's many ways you could use avoidance. You could use it with drugs. Like I've already talked about the ways you can use avoidance. But it will manifest itself, whether it be doom scrolling. Heck, even watching this YouTube video might be you avoiding your problems, which I hope not. I hope that you are trying to be aware of yourself and you're trying to seek out what's bothering you and grow beyond your limitations. But you could use this YouTube video as avoidance. Heck, I could use making this video as avoidance for me not applying for jobs or doing things I'm supposed to be doing. So I really like how she phrased that.
You keep manufacturing excuse after excuse after excuse as to why you are not doing what is good for you, then congratulations. You're an inventor of your own hell. So, if there is something in your life that can be easily solved, but you're not solving it, it's because it's keeping you from solving something that you don't actually want to feel, that you don't actually want to solve, that you don't actually want to face. Because 99% of the things that are distractions and excuses in life can be fixed in an instant. If you are having overspending issues, you can delete every app on your phone that you are overspending on. You can cut up your credit cards so that you can't use them. You can stop going out to stores so that you can't spend as much money. If you are having an overeating or an undereating issue, as horrible as this sounds, because I've been through eating disorders and I know how difficult this sentence is, you can change your eating habits literally today. If you are having a phone addiction or you are having difficulty staying off your phone, you can literally get a lockbox for your phone, put it in there, and then you can't get it out for 10 hours if you set it for 10 hours. Or you can just click the little button on the side and it turns off. Magic, I know. If you are having issues with substance abuse, you can stop that substance. And of course, that's the solution to those problems. But actually doing that is a mountain of emotional and mental tension that you have to let go of.
I will quickly say this. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. If you're dealing with mental health problems, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, substance abuse, spending problems, and you believe you need clinical help, I would greatly advise you to seek medical attention if that is an option. Um, so I agree with what she's saying, but I think this is where maybe I disagree with what you're saying. I think the problem is it's like Instagram, Snapchat, Amazon, TikTok. They're designed to be addictive. TikTok is literally designed for dopamine after dopamine after dopamine. And the problem is TikTok wouldn't make money if it wasn't addictive. Instagram won't make money if you don't see the next post and the next post. Amazon wouldn't make money if it didn't keep suggesting you things. So it goes deeper than just like change your habits. Our environment is also against us. I don't know if she's going to talk about how our environment is, but we got to contextualize our problems. That societally, our society, we live in a society. But no, our society, the way American life is structured, is consumerist. And so by saying like you can change it, yes, you can, but you're not just fighting your own demons. You're fighting the demons of shareholders. You're fighting the demons of C-suite executives that want to make their quarterly bonus. So it's a whole lot easier said than done.
That is serving a purpose for you somehow because it's keeping you from the mountain that you do not want to face. It's keeping you from responsibilities that you don't have the courage to face. It's keeping you from emotions that you feel like you will drown under. Tackle the mountain. Don't put another boulder on your own back. Turn and face whatever it is that you are so afraid of. Because the second you confront it, that's when your life can actually start. The second you put down every excuse, every problem that you are creating in your own life, the second that you look at yourself and realize that you are the one in your own way and start taking responsibility for how much control you actually do have over your own life, is a moment that everything changes. And this week I have been stuck in a whiny, irresponsible, negative, pessimistic headspace, convinced that I was addicted to my phone and that I couldn't put down everything in my life that is holding me back. Switch it off. Switch it all off and feel the shit you've been avoiding. Because life is waiting for you on the other side of everything you are afraid to feel. Life is waiting for you.
Wow, what a video. Man, Miss Bailey, hopefully, maybe one day we might speak to each other. Maybe we'll have a conversation. Maybe. It was good, this was a good video. I think, also, I love how I'm paused on pink. Pretty in pink. I'm pretty in pink. I think that it's great. Like, it is great to work on yourself. I am so for that. I wish she had, advocated more for if you need counseling. That's something, like I said, if you need it. Trust me, I am the result of years of therapy. Whether or not it worked or whether or not it didn't, I am the result of years of therapy. I'm not saying it's a one size fits all, and I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm just saying that is an option if you're dealing with substances, spending, and alcohol, and and maybe even loneliness too. I think there's also some problems that you can't solve as an individual. She talked a lot about individual problems, which I understand. You know what? She's talking from her point of view, so I'm not gonna dog on her. But there's also some problems that a community can fix. Having friends, having people to talk to, having shared moments. So there is a limit, I think, to, you're creating your own problems. there's some problems that require a group that you can't just do on your own. And so this was a really good video. I really enjoyed it. I agree that sometimes you might have an alcohol problem because you're dealing with your depression. Instead of actually admitting that you're sad, you use alcohol to numb the pain, and then that creates and then it just creates a series of bad problems. I really enjoyed, what you have to say. Thank you so much for this. I love how I'm saying thank you as if I'm going to speak to you. Who knows? But no, this was really good. It was really informative to hear. It's also always interesting to hear from the female perspective, from the woman's perspective, how they take on problems and how they conceptualize the world and how they interact with things. Because for me, I think I would have in 5 simple steps and 3 that's what I see a lot of men do. It's always 3 or 5 or 10, man. 3, 5, 10. I don't know what's good with those numbers, but 3, 5, and 10. But no, for her, she was just like doing a list, and it was like a free flowing. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. My socials will be linked down below and at the end of this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.